Want to get this briefing by email? Here's the sign up. Good morning. Here's what you need to know. After a Thanksgiving break, lawmakers are back in Washington today and facing growing pressure to end Capitol Hill's culture of secrecy over sexual harassment. Under a 1995 law, complaints are handled confidentially. Settlements are also kept secret. Members of both parties are calling for the end to such practices. On Sunday, Representative John Conyers Jr. announced he was stepping aside as the top Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee while an ethics panel investigates allegations that he sexually harassed aides. Separately, the Senate will begin voting this week on its tax plan. We looked at a provision in the House's version that would repeal a 1954 law banning churches and other nonprofit groups from engaging in political activity. The battle over who will lead the federal government's top consumer financial watchdog is headed to court. Ms. English, the deputy director of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, was set to become its temporary chief after the abrupt resignation of the director, Richard Cordray, on Friday. But President Trump wants his budget director, Mick Mulvaney, to lead the agency. Ms. English filed suit on Sunday to block that appointment, and it's unclear who will be running the bureau this morning. Our correspondent in Tehran reports, after years of cynicism, sneering, or simply tuning out all things political, Iran's urban middle classes have been swept up in a wave of nationalist fervor. While years in the making, the changing attitude has been driven by two factors: President Trump and Saudi Arabia, Iran's regional rival. A $100 billion U.S. arms deal with the Saudis and the foreign policy moves of the Saudi crown prince have led to widespread public support in Iran for the hardline view that Washington and Riyadh cannot be trusted. General Min Aung Hlaing has led the military campaign to drive out Rohingya Muslims, an effort that the U.S. has declared to be ethnic cleansing. He has effectively sidelined Aung San Suu Kyi, the country's de facto civilian leader. She has been heavily criticized for allowing the Rohingyas' expulsion, but she has no authority over the armed forces. The general is set to meet Pope Francis, who began a trip to the overwhelmingly Buddhist nation today. Some Roman Catholic officials are worried that the Pope's willingness to call out injustice could endanger Myanmar's Christian minority. Over the weekend, The Times published a profile of a white nationalist and Nazi sympathizer in Ohio that led to a lot of criticism. Many readers accused The Times of normalizing neo-Nazi views and behavior. Our national editor, Mark Lacey, responded to those concerns and explained how the piece came about, why we wrote it, and why we think it was important. The reporter, Richard Fawcett, also offered his thoughts. Listen on a computer, an iOS device or an Android device. The Meredith Corporation, owner of magazines including Family Circle and Better Homes and Gardens, is buying Time Inc. for nearly $3 billion.